A man died and people accused me of sorcery. They tied a rope around my neck. Everyone was at the mourning house. Plenty of people were looking at me, accusing me of being a witch. They hit my ribs with the handle of an axe, and it's still swollen. One boy who was drunk got a bush knife, came and cut my head. I started bleeding and got up and saw blood coming down my nose and face. I asked him, "Why did you cut me?" And he said, "You killed that man. You were a witch." I stood up and he cut me with a bush knife and cut off 3 of my fingers. He swung the bush knife at me again, and when I wanted to stop it, he cut my arm off.
They tried to burn Mama Rasta in the house, but the thatch was too wet. So they locked the door and left her to die. She was found by some women in the village who carried her home. While Mama Rasta survived her attackers, many women don't. Over 50% of the women living in Papua New Guinea, a small island in the South Pacific, have suffered from domestic or sexual violence, or even been accused of being a sorcerer. Papua New Guinea is one of the most dangerous places on earth to be a woman. Can pictures change this horrible situation? Can images change the world? Vlad Sokin, a Russian photojournalist, spent 2 years living on the island and covering the effects of these attacks against women.
In the beginning, it was a self-funded project. No media interest. I pitched this story to a few, I don't remember who, but I pitched and there was no interest, no reply.
Sokin tried to get his pictures published, but no book publisher was interested. Who would want to look at violent pictures of black women getting beaten and tortured in a faraway island, was the unspoken sentiment. There was one publisher that was willing to publish his book, FotoEvidence.
I said, guys, it would be good if we do a book because this project has a good potential, and I think this story needs to be also told in the form of the book, that this book can stay in this country. And they said, of course, let's do a book. We approached several people to help with the book. And then, of course, with David and Svetlana, we were making sure that the message is right, correct. It was a great pleasure for me because we were understanding each other straight away.
FotoEvidence is a publishing house founded by Svetlana Bashavanova and David Stewart. Over the last 10 years, they have published 35 titles that feature subjects most mainstream publishers would not touch with a 10-foot pole.
Vlad Sokin had produced this work over 2 or 3 years. He tried to sell it. Nobody was interested in the story. So he submitted it to FotoEvidence. We have a book award that we give to one photographer whose work demonstrates courage in the pursuit of human rights. He didn't win the award, but he was a finalist, and we published him on our website. Within a week, he was called by the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights, the Office of the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights, and they asked if they could use his images in a public education campaign in Papua New Guinea. He, of course, agreed. And that public education campaign was later joined by UN Women, Amnesty International. And so though this issue was widespread and long-standing in Papua New Guinea, nobody had ever raised it. It was really taboo to talk about. And after this mobilization, and even international attention, because we crowdfunded his book, reaching 30 or 40,000 people, there was a response.
The United Nations High Commission of Human Rights and Vlad Sokin mounted the first ever photo exhibition on violence against women in Papua New Guinea at the local university. A large number of people attended the exhibition, including diplomats. The book was later launched in the Parliament House of Papua New Guinea. The First Lady, among other dignitaries, came to the opening. Both President Peter O'Neill and his wife received a copy of the book. The original sorcery law in Papua New Guinea provided protection for those who attacked anyone they thought was practicing witchcraft, and therefore must be a sorcerer. Papua New Guinea passed the Family Protection Bill that, for the first time in the country's history, criminalized domestic violence. The country's Prime Minister, Peter O'Neill, publicly apologized to all the women of Papua New Guinea for the high rates of domestic and sexual violence in the country.
Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women. PNG commemorated the day with a photo exhibition of gender-based violence hosted by World Vision and the European Union. This has put
Vlad Sokin, the photojournalist, says, "It is still too early to say whether the new laws will actually protect women or not. In a country where tribal rules and customs still hold sway in many remote communities, it will likely take years to stop injustice." But now people are aware because local papers and social media are filled almost every day with horrific news about violence against women and girls. Still, Papua New Guinea remains one of the most dangerous places on earth to be a woman. Sokin's photojournalism, published by FotoEvidence, has had a dramatic impact. When the public and politicians saw Sokin's gut-wrenching photos, laws protecting women were finally rewritten. To change the laws in this country took not only impactful photojournalism by Vlad Sokin, but also the help of a brave and unusual publishing house, FotoEvidence.
It was a little bit challenging because I didn't know, the title was hard to find, something that with one word could say everything. But at the end it's about photography and evidence, so I combined both of them, and it became FotoEvidence. Because my idea was to publish the work that couldn't find commercial publication, but it's extremely important to be seen without being censored. I made a decision for myself that I would never ever censor work, or I would never care if this work could be a successful sale, or it was important to show work that is neglected, abandoned. And I think we had very successful 11 years with 35 titles. And I also think that the FotoEvidence Book Award was one of the first awards for documentary photography. That was 10 years ago, there were not so many. We published the work, uncensored. And then after the book is out, we start to promote the issue, we communicate with governments, we communicate with organizations that work in the direction of make changes.
FotoEvidence books focus on the most pressing social and environmental justice issues of our time, from genocide to global warming. The winner of the FotoEvidence Documenting Injustice Award, given in conjunction with World Press Photo, receives not only an award, but their project is turned into a beautifully produced 4-color hardback book. The publishers also give the FotoEvidence W Award to engage women photographers who want to tell their personal stories in the form of a photo book. In addition, FotoEvidence started a workshop designed to educate photographers who work for humanitarian missions and non-governmental organizations, and whose photographs are intended to serve as evidence of injustice or human rights violations.
Does photography change the world? Images alone will not change the world. Images move people to action, and people change the world.